these two need to be doing it.
Okay, y'all ready? Let's get this done.
Yeah, I got a class 6.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I already clicked it.
Oh, good. All right. This is for IL-576. This is our second stakeholder group meeting. On my second project, we're working on a diversity plan for our school, and I have one of our leadership groups together for our diversity issue. I'm just going to go around the room. I'm Curtis Atkinson, and we'll go around the room, and everybody can kind of give their position and title.
I'm Kim Osborne. I'm the English language arts teacher.
Gary Knowles, assistant principal.
Dan Driggers, counselor.
Joseph White, teach driver's ed, health and PE.
All right, and I do high school science and coach football and softball, and both of us are instructional leadership, all three of us. Dan is our counselor, so Mr. Knowles already got his administration taken care of and working on more. So I guess really why we're having this meeting is I want to talk about the diversity issues that our school faces, and I'm going to spit out a couple of numbers, and then we maybe can discuss how we can address this. But our school is less than 1% black and roughly 10% Hispanic, and the remainder is white. We have roughly 40 on staff, 44 on staff, and we are 100% white. So there are some issues that we face, and I guess my first question to start off with is, what are some things that we can do to bridge the gap with those that have ethnic backgrounds to those that don't, because we have such a skewed number. So I'm just going to open the table. What are some things that we can do?
Well, I think the first thing that, you know, as we start to have openings in the teaching side, we're going to have to look at maybe expanding into getting maybe a teacher who is Hispanic or at least speaks the language. One of the limitations that we run into a good bit is a language barrier and not being able to carry on a conversation, take a phone call, and a lot of time that causes a little bit of a hard feeling between people.
Yeah. You guys think there's some things we could do to reach out to the community? I think we could have more of an assembly and try to invite those that are in our community of ethnic background and try to bridge some of those gaps.
Well, I know last year, the year before, we started really working with the elementary side, especially when it comes to kindergartners making that jump into the school system, bringing in someone or two that can speak the language, help them understand what we're trying to do and how they can help their kids be successful. That's something that we started in the past 2 years.
I think staff should be encouraged to try to, you know, better themselves maybe and try to pick up another language and be bilingual if we can. I've certainly been considering that.
I've used the translator to translate some of my letters and things that I've sent home.
Yes.
That way they would be in Spanish for the parents.
You know, I know we do our forms. You know, we try to do forms in Spanish as well. We have pretty much everything we have in English we have in Spanish.
You have to be in here when we send out all our information. It's all both bilingual.
Yeah, and going forward, maybe we could get, you know, some PD set up for our teachers, and, you know, some things that we can do, you know, with instruction in our classrooms. And I know one thing we all can control is the atmosphere that we have in the school, in our classrooms. And I think, you know, overall, I think our staff does a pretty good job of making everybody feel, you know, comfortable, that they're included, you know, no matter what their ethnic background is. And I think, you know, just some PD on some things that maybe we can do instructional wise to kind of bridge that gap in the classroom, I think that would help us a lot.
So bouncing off what he said, other than PD, what are some other activities that maybe we will incorporate into the school day that would allow us, in the school year, that would allow us to become more intertwined with our community?
Just, you know, with what we talked about last time with our enrichment, you know, maybe we should look at, you know, I know Mr. Claus does some French cooking. I think there's some more things we could probably pull from there to get a couple more diverse things going that they may feel, you know, a little more comfortable doing.
Sure.
You know, and I think that would include, you know, talking to them, hey, what are some things you would like to see with our enrichment and our special Fridays that we're doing, something that maybe your culture does that you would like to see us try to do at the school, and then try to get some of our kids, you know, some of our white students to attend that to kind of see, you know, what they have to deal with and some things that they're interested in.
I think that's a great idea. And another thing that crossed my mind is when I was in school here in Appalachian, we offered Spanish.
I had Spanish when I was
Yeah, I did too. And that kind of went away. But I would like to see that maybe come back as maybe down the line when we look at hiring maybe some teachers of different ethnic backgrounds, maybe offering that, because I think it would help some of our students communication wise and help us as teachers communication wise too.
I like this idea, you know, of exposure to the other culture. For instance, you know, maybe some assignments that might, you know, cover historical, you know, Spanish figures or Latino figures like San Bolivar, or maybe talking about, like Mr. Knowles and I were talking about Cinco de Mayo. I mean, you know, things that maybe our white kids don't know anything about, and they ought to learn, and certainly Spanish cuisine and our
I
home
do
ec
some
room.
Spanish literature, like some cultural stuff in my classroom.
I think these are all good ways to you know, tie everybody in.
So going forward with the diversity plan we're working on, are there any other things you think we need to incorporate? We've had some good ideas here, but what are some other things maybe that we haven't touched? Anybody got anything else?
I've got one thing I want the group to think about, and I don't want it included in this section of diversity, but it's something that a lot of our teachers don't quite get. There's another group, it's not a minority, that's right here in our school that we have a very hard time relating to, and that's our students of poverty. I mean, you're looking at 60% of your school there, and unfortunately, or fortunately for us, we don't experience life the way they do. And because of that, sometimes we get our blinders on, and I've had it happen to where we made a big deal over having a pencil, a paper, and a notebook, and it be someone who cannot afford those things. So, just as a think piece for the next time we get together, to keep in diversity not only between colors but in socioeconomic.
I totally agree, because diversity is not just ethnic. Diversity is monetary stages, whether you're upper, middle, or lower class. It's anything that's different. That doesn't necessarily mean ethnic, but that's kind of what we're focused on. I think that's a fantastic idea. Anything else? All right, well, I appreciate your time, and we'll be sure to try to incorporate some of these ideas into our diversity plan.